The air inside the courtroom was already suffocating, thick with whispers and restless shuffling. But when the guards pushed the door open and Sean Diddy Combs walked in shackled, the energy collapsed into dead silence. His wrists were bound in heavy chains, every metallic rattle echoing through the chamber, like a cruel reminder that the man who once lived as untouchable now stood powerless. His face was pale, his eyes swollen from nights of tears, and the tremor in his step betrayed what his pride had always hidden: fear. Reporters raised their cameras in an instant, flashes slicing through the room as they captured his downfall. Frame by frame, the audience packed into every wooden bench, leaned forward, their faces twisted in shock, disbelief, even grim satisfaction. Some whispered, "It can't be true, huh?" While others muttered, "This is it. Tonight the empire dies." Every word, every breath hung heavy in the air, as though history itself was holding its breath. The judge entered, his robes sweeping the floor, his expression carved in stone, with a thunderous strike of the gavel. Bang! The room snapped into order. His voice filled the chamber, sharp and commanding. "This is not a spectacle. This is justice, and tonight the truth will be revealed before the world." The sound of those words cut deep into Diddy, who flinched as though the judge's voice itself had struck him. And before we dive deeper into this unforgettable video, make sure to like the video, subscribe to our channel, and hit the bell icon. That way you'll never miss any new coming videos like this. Now, let's get back to it. Diddy's breath grew heavier, his cuffed hands trembling violently as he lowered himself into the chair at the defense table. The audience watched in stunned silence, as though they couldn't believe they were seeing the same man who had once commanded global stages, now reduced to sobs in a courtroom. The whispers returned, colliding into a low hum that filled the space with tension, until the judge's glare silenced them all again. In that suffocating silence, it became clear to everyone present. This was not the beginning of the end. This was the end itself, playing out second by second, with no escape, no shield, and no way out left for Sean Diddy Combs. The gallery was overflowing now, every bench filled, reporters standing shoulder to shoulder, cameras flashing in frantic bursts as though no one dared miss even a fraction of a second. The sound of shuffling papers, hurried whispers, and nervous breaths blended together until it felt like a storm was brewing inside the courtroom itself. But in the eye of that storm sat Sean Diddy Combs, a man who had once walked into rooms and made the world bend to him, now reduced to trembling in chains. His hands shook so badly the cuffs rattled like a haunting rhythm, each metallic clink echoing louder than the murmurs around him. His face told the story the world never thought it would see. Pale sweat beading across his brow, his swollen eyes darting between the judge and the gallery, searching for something, anything that could save him. But there was nothing, only cold stares. Some were filled with pity, some with disbelief, and some with the satisfaction of seeing a giant finally fall. The judge, unrelenting, scanned the room before fixing his stare on Diddy. His voice, deep and thunderous, sliced through the air. "This courtroom is not a theater. This is not a stage for your wealth nor your fame. This is where the truth comes to light. And tonight, Mr. Combs, you will face yours." His words sent a ripple through the crowd, gasps breaking the silence like cracks in glass. Reporters scribbled with furious energy, their pens scratching so loud it became part of the soundscape. Photographers lifted their cameras higher, their flashes freezing the moment into history. One close-up captured Diddy's tear-streaked face as he pressed his cuffed hands to his mouth, trying to stifle a sob, but failing miserably. The image of invincibility had shattered. What remained was fragility, despair, and the undeniable truth that he was trapped with no escape. Diddy finally spoke, his voice breaking into pieces before it even left his throat. "Please, Your Honor, I built everything from nothing. I gave everything I had. This can't be how it ends." His words tumbled out weakly, barely carrying across the room, but every soul heard them. A woman in the gallery shook her head, tears welling in her eyes. A man leaned forward, muttering, "It is the end. We're watching it happen." The judge leaned forward, his face hard, his tone merciless. "You speak of building, but what you built is already collapsed by your own hands. You speak of giving, but tonight the only thing you'll give is an account of your actions. Understand this clearly. No wall of wealth, no shield of fame can protect you here. The truth has stripped it all away." His gavel struck the bench. Bang! And the sound jolted through the courtroom like a bolt of lightning. Diddy flinched violently at the sound, his sobs louder now, echoing against the wooden walls. His body seemed smaller, shrinking under the weight of the judge's words. The gallery murmured again, some voices sharp, others quivering. "This is justice," one said softly. "This is the end," another replied. And as Diddy buried his face in his hands, the chains rattling louder than ever, it became painfully clear to everyone watching. This wasn't just a man in court. This was an empire in its final moments, collapsing not with grandeur or applause, but with tears, sobs, and the cold authority of justice. The stage he once ruled was gone. The spotlight had turned into a prison lamp, and for the first time, the world saw Sean Diddy Palms with no way out. The wooden benches groaned under the weight of restless bodies as the courtroom buzzed with whispers, each one layered with shock, disbelief, or grim satisfaction. The fluorescent lights hummed above, casting a cold glow on every anxious face. And there, in the center of it all, Sean Diddy Combs sat shackled, trembling, his head bowed so low it seemed as though he was trying to vanish into the table in front of him. Every camera flash carved his misery into history. Each burst of light froze his swollen, tear-streaked face, his cuffed hands, the sweat clinging to his brow. Reporters muttered to themselves as they scribbled furiously, trying to capture every nuance of the collapse they were witnessing. It was no longer just a trial. It was a spectacle of downfall, an empire dissolving into dust before their eyes. The judge's gavel struck, bang, and the hum of whispers died instantly. His voice rose, booming, merciless. "Mr. Combs, you sit here weeping over what you've built, but what you built has already been destroyed by your own hands. The world is watching you, and tonight it learns the truth. There is no power strong enough to shield you from justice." His words echoed across the chamber, bouncing off the walls like a verdict long overdue. Gasps followed, some sharp, others muffled. A woman in the gallery clutched her necklace tightly, whispering prayers under her breath. A man leaned forward, muttering, "He thought he was untouchable. Look at him now." The room became a theater of reactions, some sympathetic, others cold, all riveted. Diddy lifted his head slightly, his eyes bloodshot, his lips trembling as he tried to form words. I never thought it would come to this," he stammered, his voice breaking apart mid-sentence. He shook his head violently, chains rattling as his sobs overtook him again. The sound of those chains clinking echoed like a cruel soundtrack to his despair. The judge's glare sharpened. He leaned forward, his hands gripping the bench. "You may cry, Mr. Combs, you may beg, but your tears will not cleanse the truth, and your pleas will not alter your fate. Tonight, this courtroom does not bow to your legacy. It buries it." The gallery erupted once more, gasps and whispers flooding the air. Cameras snapped in rapid-fire succession, freezing the moment when the judge's words crushed the last fragments of Diddy's pride. He collapsed forward, pressing his forehead against the wooden table, his body shaking violently as his sobs poured from him. Louder, roar, unstoppable. And as the guards shifted closer, their shadows stretching across the floor toward him, the realization spread through the chamber like wildfire. Sean Diddy Combs was not fighting for his empire anymore. He was fighting for scraps of dignity, for a shred of mercy that would never come.